Welcome back to JP's Budget Collecting and our weekly look back at the hot comics from 6 months ago. This week we're looking back at the hot comics from December 26, 2020, and I'm recording this on June 25th, 2021. I have power back. If you were going to watch my Usagi Yojimbo show last night, I didn't, but I ended up getting it back in time to record this and hopefully in time to post this on time. So yeah, let's hope I get everything done now that I have power back. Anyway, this was kind of a unique week. Normally we look at the CBSI Hot Top 10 and the Comic Tom Key Collector Hottest Trending Comics of the Week. But CBSI did a year-end hottest books of the 2020 thing, the books that were kind of on the list the most. And Tom did a regular list, but he also did kind of a hottest books of 2020 that came out in 2020. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to do my regular look back at the hottest books of the week. So we just have the 10 books that Tom talked about this week. I may try to do a look at those two like yearly recaps, maybe sometime midweek. Coming up, so might be a bonus look back here in a few days. I'm not sure what the timing on that's going to be, but for now we're just doing the regular 6-month look back at the hottest books of that particular week. So just 10 this week, but as always we're looking back at these books to try to understand what factors made them hot, what's happened since, and just see if we can all make better decisions about which hot books we chase and which ones we're a little more patient on. So with that, let's get into our rather short list this week. First up, we have just 2 Comic Buzz books this week. We have A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, number 2. And this is the second and final issue of this little run adapting the movie from 2014 that was kind of a cult hit. The first, number 1, jumped on this list when it first came out. And this one did as well, going for $10 to $25 at release. At this point, it's a $5 to $15 book, so it's down. Still got some value, still going for more than cover for the most part. So, and I'll be back, but will be interesting to see how long this actually holds any value. Yeah, there's some movie interest, but without the books being new, no additional series, at least that we know of, any kind of follow-up coming. We'll see how long this actually continues to kind of hold. But so far, it's still going for, like I said, more than cover on the most part. Next, we have Aliens number 1 from 1998, the Dark Horse first Aliens in comics, and it's hit the list because Marvel announced solicitations came out for the Marvel series that was coming. We knew Marvel had gotten the rights, and then the solicitation came out that, they were going to be publishing Aliens comics, caused this raw copies of this book to jump to $100. 9.8 went for $2,500. And best I can tell, that's partially because 9.8s are really tough to get and hard to find. Right now, raw copies are going for $20 to $80, so it's down on those raw sales. I couldn't find a 9.8 sale or a listing when I looked last night, for a 9.8. 9.6s go $400 to $600, but 9.8s are pretty tough to come by, hence that huge price on that $2,500. But overall, this book, most of the sales are those raw copies. So this one is down and a bit of an I'll be back. Next, we're going to move into some DC related stuff. And first up, we have Green Lantern number 25 from 2007. This is the first appearance of the Red Lanterns, the Blue Lanterns, the Orange Lanterns, or is it the Violet Lanterns, and the Black Lanterns. I think that's all. I don't know. There's a bunch of lantern colors. This is the kind of in the prelude to Darkest Night, Brightest Day, that whole storyline, and the lanterns and all of that. So this is when we first see those other lantern colors. Back then, raw copies were going for $35. 9.8s were hitting $240, and this is because the HBO show was coming and people were specking on all kinds of different things, not knowing where that show was going or what the storyline was going to be. Now raw copies are $25 to $50. 9.8s are $275 to $375. So up kind of across the board on both. Not a lot, kind of a worth it, not necessarily a straight cash, but the book has continued to kind of creep up a little bit. So yeah, still some speculation about the other colored lanterns making appearances in the upcoming HBO Max show. So next we have Strange Adventures, number 205. This is the first appearance of Dead Man. And this basically was rumors about a Justice League Dark show and him being a potential character that might show up in that. So, a little interesting. Not sure what to do with the information on this. Tom basically said that average sales were $900, which I couldn't find any evidence of that being an average sale for Raws at any point. But he didn't put a grade with it. Right now, Raws go anywhere from $100 to $500. So, like, depending on the grade quality, 8.5 goes for $1,600. Maybe just a really high grade Raw would go for that, but like your average Raw copy doesn't come anywhere near to that high 900 he mentioned before. So I have to mark this as down, but I feel like he didn't give it enough information to really be completely accurate with this, but I'll mark this as down. I'll be back because it's still a great book. But yeah, so not sure the pricing thing. It was just a little confusing for me that time. So, but overall, still going for good value. Still, I think some potential that this character could show up in some of that Justice League Dark if they actually make it. We've heard rumors of a Justice League Dark movie and show many times, so we've yet to get one. So hopefully, maybe. Next, we're going to move into MCU stuff, which is most of the rest of the list. We got Secret War, number 2. This is the first appearance of Quake, also known as Daisy Johnson. This is a character that was the main character of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show for a long time. And basically, this was rumors that Chloe Bennett was going to come back and actually officially join the MCU as Quake. At least those were the rumors. No, she wasn't attached to any particular Marvel project just yet. At least in those rumors. And I haven't heard anything specific about where people think she's going to show up. But that was the rumor. It caused this book to jump up to $10 to $15. 9.8 to hit 200. Now it's going 20 to 40. 9.8s are going for 200 to 300. So this has continued to climb. This is another one that's up and kind of worth it. At least so far. If she actually gets an announcement, my guess is this book will go up even more. If we get an official announcement that she is going to join a show or one of the movies coming up. Next, we have Alias number 1, first appearance of Jessica Jones. This is a very similar to the previous book. We had rumors around this time that Charlie Cox was going to be in the Spider-Man movie. We had rumors that they were going to bring back Kristen Ritter as Jessica Jones and put her in the MCU officially from those Netflix shows. So that's what caused this book to spike. Raws were going for $75. 9.8s were hitting 200 again, which it had dropped quite a bit from when the shows were coming out. Now Raws are 30 to 150. So pretty wide range depending on condition. I think this book is pretty condition sensitive. 9.8s though are 300 to 450. So this book is up and it's kind of been straight cash. Has continued to climb. And if she does appear in the MCU, another one I expect to continue to jump even more. Next, we have Avengers number 62, the first appearance of M'Baku, also Man-Ape, who appeared in the first Black Panther movie, as well as I think had a little bit of a cameo in Infinity War. And basically, there were rumors coming out that maybe this is the direction they'd go for the new Black Panther instead of going with Shuri, that they might actually make, since he fought to be the Black Panther during the movie, that they might, in the wake of Chadwick Boseman's death, they might have that be the storyline that he becomes the Black Panther, at least for a period, before maybe Shuri takes it over. Raw copies were going for $220 back then on average. 9.2 went for $350. Now, raw copies are $50 to $100 for the most part, so down, but 9.2s are going for $5 to $550, so those are up. So I wasn't sure what to do with this. I marked it as steady, kind of an I'll be back. I think you could find some deals, but we get books that do this sometimes. I'm not sure exactly what to say about them. Raw copies are down. Graded copies are up, which seems to be part kind of just of the way the market has gone. The separation on some books between raw and graded have gotten bigger, have gotten wider as the markets kind of went nuts. So if you wanted to argue this should be up, I wouldn't necessarily argue with it because of the graded copies, although most of the copies are actually raw, so that would lean toward down, so I just marked it as steady. So there you go. 3 more books to go. Next, we have West Coast Avengers number 62. This is the first appearance of the Timekeepers. This hit the list back then because the trailer for the Loki show had dropped. And you could see the Timekeepers in the background, like the little carved images we've seen. Well, the show's coming out right now. We know the Timekeepers. Well, we've seen those same images of the Timekeepers' faces. We haven't actually seen the Timekeepers yet. I guess as we will before this is over. But back then, the book jumped up to a $5 to $20 book, and it's basically sitting in that same range, 10 to 20 now. Definitely been very steady. My guess is once we actually have an appearance, the book will probably jump a little bit, but and maybe it has already, because I think I looked at these. Well, the show was out this episode, and they didn't really appear in this most recent episode. So yeah, so we'll see what happens. And then next we have, our last of our MCU books is Fantastic Four 353, first appearance of Mobius. And we found out that was who Owen Wilson was playing back during the trailer. Raw copies were 25, 9.6 went for 100. Now raw copies are 35 to 100, 9.8s are 5 to 700. We're right in the middle of the show. Of course, this book is up, and we'll probably maybe go up a little more. We'll see what happens with the storyline, but he's definitely in the show. He's been in, well, I guess he wasn't in the 3rd episode, but he's been in most of the episodes, so yeah. And then finally, we have one Star Wars book this week, and that is Star Wars Jedi Academy Leviathan, number 1 from 1998. This is the first appearance of Kip Duran and several other Jedi that are learning at the Jedi Academy. And this had everything to do with thinking that with Luke's appearance at the end of The Mandalorian, spoilers, and him taking Grogu to teach him, that we might get some sort of Jedi Academy show in the future, and we might get some of these characters. So that's what caused this book to jump. Raw copies were going for 40 to 70. 40 to 75. Now it's a $20 to $40 book. 9.8s are 150 to 250. So this one's down. Been a bit of an I'll be back. Not a lot of buzz. We haven't heard anything official about a Jedi Academy show. So people have kind of backed off this book a little bit, which is sort of rare for Star Wars books, and they seem to just climb no matter what. But so that's this week's list. As I said before, we only had the 10 books because of Key Collector doing a year-end wrap-up, or not, CBSI doing a year-end wrap-up, and just Tom and Key Collector actually doing a weekly list. I'm probably hoping to look at those weekly wrap-ups, or yearly wrap-ups that they both did, and maybe make a video this week. We'll see if I can get that done. So I want to thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you next time.